Joben has released his thoughts on Joby Aviation's business plan. Hello hustlers. So today I found a recent interview with Joben breaking down Joby's business with a clear insight into his thoughts. But first, don't be lazy, hit that subscribe as we're growing the biggest Joby Aviation community here on YouTube. I do need your help though. In order to build this community, we need to all come together. So hit that subscribe, and I have created a free Discord for you all to join. I'll continue to create free Joby content just for you. And that's right, there's no need to pay, just join and we can all collaborate. My goal is to give everyone a voice no matter who you are or where you're from. All your Joby news will be aired, good, bad or ugly. As a community, we'll be all in this together. So anyway, let's get on with this interview.
I'm here with Joben, and this is Joby, his company. We're going to be talking a little bit about vertical takeoff machines. VTOLs are extremely important in the future. If you ever wanted to have the Jetsons kind of experience, this is step one. So anyways, thank you so much for letting us have a look at your facility. I'm delighted to be here. Why don't you give us a little, I'm looking around, I see a tremendous number of fixturing, things in production, or at least this looks more like production than it does just prototyping. So I'm very impressed. I'd really like you to give us the lowdown on Joby.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Really fantastic to have you here. And so this is our composites final assembly facility. And as you noted, we have a significant amount of fixturing around the facility here. These are tools that we're using to build, we call this our pilot manufacturing line, where our target is to get to parts for one aircraft a month by the end of this year. And as we go through it, you'll see planes in all different states of construction. So behind us, you see a wing going together, and we have tail fixturing, fuselage fixturing. All of this was developed in partnership with Toyota, and we have an incredible partnership with Toyota. They've been.
Now it's interesting to hear his thoughts on this partnership.
Working shoulder to shoulder with us, both here in Marina as well as in San Carlos, which you'll be visiting this afternoon, to really optimize our processes and streamline and use this as a facility to learn the lessons so that we can get the manufacturing processes right as we look to scale to larger and larger volumes over time.
You know, I think that one of the things that I really like to hear more about is how did you come up with the concept? Just give us a little bit more about Joby, how this all came together. Because quite frankly, you know, one day nobody heard of you, and the next day you're getting the biggest single contract for vertical takeoff on the planet. That would be Delta, correct?
So we've got an incredible partnership with Delta, with the DoD, with Toyota, with Uber. So we're very, very fortunate across all the different pieces of our go-to-market strategy to have amazing partnerships. In terms of your question about the background, this was a dream of mine from when I was a kid, to build a better way to get from A to B, and worked on it back in 1993 when I was in college. At that point in time, batteries weren't ready. We were at about 50 watt hours a kilogram specific energy. That progressed through the 90s and early 2000s to the point where we had batteries that had enough specific power for vertical takeoff, but also were approaching 200 watt hours a kilogram. Today we have cells that are over 300 watt hours a kilogram and that also have the power to do vertical takeoff and landing. And so battery technology has been steadily progressing, and that's enabled this new age. And so I formally founded Joby Aviation in 2009 after having dreamt about it and worked on it for many years. Started in a number of other companies that gave me the financial means to kick off what is now become an electric aircraft revolution with recently announced that there were, I think, 1,000 different concepts that people had come up with. So this is very akin to aviation in the early 1900s, where there was like a Cambrian explosion of new ideas, and that's what makes this time so exciting. Is so many entrepreneurs around the world looking at how do we transform the way we move around on a daily basis with air travel. So here's one of the propulsion blades, and so it's carbon fiber with a titanium root sleeve, and this combined with the very high specific torque motor is what makes the acoustic profile possible. You asked how slow do they spin? In cruise, it's as slow as 250 RPM.
250 RPM, no shit. Wow.
So we're like a many smaller GA airplanes, you're spinning at like 2,500 RPM.
Yeah.
This is spinning 10 times slower, and that's what makes it so that when you're in cruise and it's flying over, you don't hear the propellers at all. You just hear a whoosh.
Yeah. Well, I saw the how quiet it was when you compared it.
No, this quietness will be quite important around busy urban environments, so it's good to see Joben is utilising everything he can to make it as quiet as possible.
We'll put a little thing on the bottom that compares yours to, I think it's 5 or 6 other aircraft, helicopters, a Cirrus and whatnot. I will tell you though, this right now is probably less than a kilo, so less than 2 pounds. I'm really impressed. People have shown me their ideas on what to do with props in general, and I don't know how you did it, but well, basically you've got the lower speed, so you can get rid of a lot of the mass that you have to have in order to withstand things.
So this is a titanium part which we print here. This is part of our one of our cooling manifolds, and as you can see, you're able to build a part that's incredibly
complex. Wowzers. Okay, so this is using additive manufacturing. Titanium is one of my absolute favorites for 3D manufacturing and or additive manufacturing. And this has just come out beautifully. This is the only way that you could possibly do something like, you couldn't possibly cast it. If you were going to be welding this together, it'd take you forever, and it costs a fortune, and it would be hugely heavy. So I'm very intrigued by the elegant. I love elegant designs, and the elegant design then transformed into an elegant way of manufacturing, and this is just spectacular.
Control surface actuator.
Yeah. A lot of machining. That's for sure. Wowzers. Yeah, these are like you've got them in a display case for a good reason. I mean, they definitely look spectacular. Yeah. And I like the way that you've, when companies usually get involved in manufacturing and whatnot, they look at the function, but they don't look at the elegance that you're going to need in order to make things work. And if you have a look here, you can see that there's 2 or 3 risers or ribs, whatever you want to call them, in here to give you the strength. But it's hollow to give you the lightness that you need in order to make things happen, because vertical takeoff eats up a tremendous amount of power. So having something that's been designed like that is the only way really you can make everything work. You have to be looking for every gram of weight savings. So
absolutely,
very impressive.
So let's go over and take a look at the airplane assembly line.
Great.
So This is our final assembly area where once the airframes are assembled and painted and tested, they come in here and all the components get put inside. So we have as we just saw there, and you'll see more when you see the facility in San Carlos, all the components we developed are really the heart of what makes this possible. Right. Very high specific torque motors, very light actuators. We design and build all of the power electronics and control systems that go in the aircraft, the switches and all the communication systems, the avionics, and that enables us to build a really next generation aircraft where all the systems are optimally tailored to work together. And you mentioned how challenging it is to build vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. Right. Yeah. That is because you need all of the systems working in perfect harmony. And by building a vertically integrated company, a next generation aviation company, we're able to build aircraft with capabilities from an acoustic standpoint, from an emission standpoint, from a safety standpoint that really weren't possible before. And so that's what's really exciting here.
Well, I've always been even when it was unpopular, I've been a fan of vertical integration. I feel that as soon as you've got somebody coming in, usually a very expensive consultant, telling you that you've got a core competency, you have to go. As soon as you hear that, you know you're on the path to destruction. So the vertical integration stuff is actually a good example with Boeing. They moved from vertical integration to core competency. What we have to do, and
no, I don't know here if Bowen is a good example.
They, doors fall off and stuff like that. It's very uncomfortable. So I'm very impressed. So you're making your own circuit, because that's usually the thing that people stop. Do you make your own circuit boards then as well?
So
or populate your own circuit?
We design all of our electronic systems, and then when you're up in San Carlos, you'll see all of those systems getting put together.
So how long does it taking now for a build?
We're still a bit.
I mean, in days. What are you shooting at?
We're still over a month. Again, by the end of the year, our goal is to be able to build one aircraft worth of parts a month.
A month. So one a month. And so who's going to be the first recipient of your?
Well, so we've already delivered the first aircraft to the first one that came off this line to Edwards Air Force Base. And
is that for testing, validation? Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. And then we'll be delivering additional aircraft. We announced that we have another aircraft going to Edwards, as well as two going to MacDill in Tampa, in Florida.
Oh yeah.
And so really excited about the opportunities on that front too.
Wow, that is cool. So the government is basically your first customer. What about commercial customers? How long before we see I can get a plane ride from Detroit Metro to downtown Detroit?
Well, Detroit's a fantastic example because we have our partnership with Delta, and Detroit is a critical hub for Delta.
It's number 3 on the list, and I can understand LA and New York. Okay, fine, but I will tell you that there's no easy connection. There's no train. There's no trolley. There's no nothing. You take a cab or an Uber to get to downtown Detroit. So this is, to me, this is a gold mine. You'll have to have about 100 of these things where people need to get downtown like right now, and they don't want to take 94. So I'm very excited to see what you're going to do there. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So how long before Delta starts getting some of their planes? So
with Delta, we are working on building the vertiport infrastructure for JFK, LaGuardia, and LAX. So that's we're working through the permitting process on that. Yeah. And as soon as those takeoff and landing locations get built, we'll be able to start service. The key piece is having takeoff and landing location that's directly connected to the terminal.
Yeah.
Delta's invested $7 billion into.
Now, to be fair, I would like to see a timeline here. It seems like he's dodging it a little bit.
New terminal infrastructure,
Right.
and being able to deliver customers directly to those terminals and make it as seamless as possible to get from a Joby flight onto a Delta flight, or from a Delta flight onto a Joby flight, and saving customers time, because that's what this is all about, is making delivering a magical experience.
Absolutely. Basically, nowadays, anyways, time has become even more valuable than the old adage, time is money. And now it's time is everything. Nobody can buy back a second for $1 billion. So, and seconds count in today's world. So this, I think, is just coming along at the absolute perfect time. Okay, so here we are in the cutting line. That's what's going on in back of me. So why don't we describe a little bit about this material and what's going on?
Yeah, so this is what the aircraft starts as. It's a pre-preg carbon fiber from Toray, which is one of the world's leading suppliers of high-performance carbon fiber. And it has a plastic sheet that's on both sides of it for protection. It comes on a big roll, and then this machine here is called a ply cutter, and it robotically cuts out the parts, and then once they're cut out, they get labeled. And
no, I do like to see that this is all done in-house.
And so the machine automatically labels them, and then they get kitted, and then those kits go to the layup room, and we'll go there next and see the technicians laying up the parts.
Yeah, yeah. So we were just talking about the offal, the stuff that goes away. It's kind of like scraps. And we were just talking. One of the things that BMW on the i3 did was to take the scraps and figure out how to utilize the scraps so that they could make non-structural types of components out of what was left over. Because it's very difficult to turn this into something else.
That's right, exactly right. And that's one of the other pieces that we'll see is the AFP robots, automated fiber replacement robots. And one of the beauties of them, not only is it more automated, but it also has dramatically less scrap.
Yeah. So why don't we give me a little explanation of what's going on here with the placement machine?
Yeah. So this is our AFP automated fiber placement robot. We have two of them. This one is laying up a wing skin, and so it is applying the carbon fiber toes directly to the part, and because it's automated, it's very, very precise in the way it places the fibers, and it has dramatically lower waste. So it's laying individual fiber toes down onto the part, and in a very, very precise way.
So after the toes are put in place, what happens then?
So then the parts gets bagged and put in the autoclave and cured. So once the composite parts have been laid up, they go in the autoclave, and they are cured at high temperature and high pressure. And then when the parts come out, they get debagged and then demolded, and then the molds are prepped to make the next set of parts. So the autoclave gives us extremely high compaction and really high part quality, very consistent performance. And so that's what you see here.
Well, that is a very big autoclave. I got to tell you, I was when looking at the door and whatnot, I was very surprised. So, but you've got, you're just right at the beginning of the production operations and whatnot. Are you going to use any more? Are you going to need any more of these things?
Yeah, so we'll need a bunch of autoclaves. So here you see we've got 3 autoclaves of different sizes here. Yeah. This again is our pilot manufacturing line. As we scale it up, we'll have multiple autoclaves to keep up with the production, even when we're running all the shifts.
So are you Are you looking for those autoclaves like right away, or are you?
Yeah, it's a progressive scaling. So we are a very opportunistic company where we, if we can get amazing deals on equipment, we'll purchase it.
Yes.
And also, you know, when you buy secondhand equipment, it allows you to shorten the lead times. Some
Right.
of these assets have multi-year lead times on when you're looking at building new ones. Always looking for good deals. This is where we take all the components of the aircraft, the propulsion stations, the batteries, the communication systems, the flight computers, the actuators, all the systems on the aircraft. We put them in the lab and we run them all. And so we've got a cockpit over here. So the components think they're flying. All the software is the same. And we're able to test lots of abnormal conditions, lots of failure modes. This lab is designed so that we can exercise the plane very quickly in rapid succession, go through one failure mode after another.
I'm impressed all the way around. I don't have enough words to really express how grateful I am for letting us come to see you. I'm telling you what, you've got a winner. And I don't say that very often, not on camera anyway. I'm really impressed. I really am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So guys, overall I think Joben knows the direction of where he wants to stay Joby as a business. I would have liked more specific timelines on when we can see customers flying in the aircraft, but it was interesting to hear more about the Toyota and Delta deals. Please let me know what you think about this interview, and is Joby a buy for you right now? I would also like you to tell me which you think is a better investment right now, Joby Aviation or Archer Aviation. Also, smash that subscribe and join the biggest Joby community here on YouTube. Also, join our free Discord below. We're waiting for you right now. Right guys, that's it. Keep on hustling and peace out.